Yo, what's up guys? Trader Mayne here, back with this fucking altcoin series. We're starting it, very excited. I'm back from my trip. Looking forward to getting, like I said, more active on the YouTube here now that I'm gonna be in my home base for a little bit and get this series going. This first video is gonna be a little bit of a primer in terms of what to expect from the subsequent videos. The entire series as a whole is going to be focused around altcoins and me giving you guys some tips and tricks from my past experience trading over the last handful of years through multiple market cycles, multiple alt seasons, stuff that I kind of have gained along my journey, which has cost me a lot of money and heartache over the years, and hopefully I can impart some of this knowledge upon you guys, and if any of it is beneficial, that's awesome. Obviously everything that I talk about here is my opinion. None of this is financial advice. Always do your own research and that kind of thing, obviously, especially when you're trading altcoins. The goal here is to talk purely about altcoins from a technical analysis perspective. If you've been following me for some time, you know that's my cup of tea. That's where I kind of have carved out my niche, is TA, specifically price action. I'll be sharing some things that I've learned over the years. If any of it helps you, I consider that a win. We're not going to be talking about fundamentals here. So if you're looking for opinions on fundamentals about altcoins, your altcoins, altcoins in general, that's not really my domain of expertise. I'm happy to admit that, and this is not going to be the video series for you. If you're someone who wants to potentially learn to use TA, specifically price action, to better trade altcoins, both up or down, regardless of the direction of the market, and invest in altcoins, whether it's early in the cycle and you want to know maybe optimal times to get in and profit-taking strategies, or it's late in the cycle and you want kind of a TA perspective on when it might be time to, cut some of those bags, or if we're mid-cycle, dollar cost average, things like that. I do believe that trading and investing are different things and should be treated as such. I trade to make money. All I need is volatility to do so. When you're investing in altcoins, ideally you want to buy stuff early in the cycle, because when the market goes ham, everything goes ham. But I do believe that using some basic principles and stuff that I'll share over some of these subsequent videos, you can better time your entries, your exits, your dollar cost averaging. Like I said, there are ways other than just buying and holding to maximize the gains, and there are things you can do to better improve the timing of when you're getting involved in coins. Does it make sense to be buying altcoins now versus just being in Bitcoin? Is your altcoin outperforming Bitcoin? Is your altcoin outperforming Ethereum? We'll also talk about kind of the mania that is alt season, my thoughts about how can you recognize when alt season is starting, when it might be ending, and some tips and tricks around that. We'll talk a little bit about diversification when it comes to altcoins. Is that a thing you should be doing? Should you be spreading yourself out about, across 20 different altcoins? Or should you maybe just pick a few solid bets? We will be talking about the community around altcoins. The cult is what I like to call them, and generally this is because there are a lot of bag holders in some of these coins. How does that come about? What makes someone become a bag holder? Why do altcoins have this kind of deep emotional attachment? Why do people have this deep emotional attachment to altcoins? I'll give you guys some tips that I have and that I use to kind of make sure I don't fall into that trap of becoming a bag holder. I mean, everyone has been guilty of it. I've held altcoins all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom more times than I'd like to admit. So just some ways you can identify that, and hopefully take a look inward and say, okay, maybe it is time to cut this bag. Even though I do believe it's the future of France, there might be a better time to get back involved using TA to kind of determine those things. A lot of that is going to center around removing emotions from your decision-making process, and that's going to be extremely valuable for not just investing but trading as well. You have to be kind of as objective and as emotionless as possible when you're making these decisions. When you make a bunch of money on an altcoin, it's natural to have kind of an emotional attachment to it. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the realities of altcoins in a bear market. 5 days ago, I think a lot more people would say we're in a bear market when we were trading at 29K. All of a sudden, we're back up towards 40 and the bull run is back on. So I'm not going to be telling you guys whether or not I think we're in a bull market or a bear market, but I will kind of share some experience that I have from trading and being in altcoins altcoins during a bear market and some of the realities that come with that, you know, because let's assume hypothetically for a second here that Bitcoin is going to reject at 40K, or maybe it goes to 45K and then it rejects and it makes a lower low to 15K or something like that. What does that mean for altcoins? Do you want to hold altcoins through another potential 70, 80, 90% drawdown? Do you have to? What are some things you can do to kind of, you know, maybe mitigate some of your downside? What I'll be doing going forward is making a post on Twitter, and I will be asking you guys to send some altcoins requests that you'd like me to look at. And then what I'll do is a top-down analysis on those coins using PA, how I trade. I will let you guys know, you know, levels I have of interest for trades, where I'd be interested in longing, where I'd be interested in shorting. If we are talking investments and longer term stuff, okay, where do I think this thing confirms that it's in an uptrend or confirms that it is in a downtrend, is going much lower? Obviously, again, this will all be my opinion, not financial advice. You know, you guys have let me know that this is something you want to see, and I'm happy to do it. At the end of the day, the goal here is just to, you know, kind of share some of the, you know, things, mistakes that I've made and lessons that I've learned to hopefully help you guys be able to make better decisions on your own. Unfortunately, due to what I was kind of talking about earlier, sometimes it can be really difficult to get unbiased altcoin opinions and TA on Twitter, on YouTube. Obviously, there are some exceptions to the rule, of course, but there is, you know, this very strong kind of community, cult-like, you know, emotional attachment to certain coins where every time it hits a level, that was the bottom and it has to moon now. I'll give you guys my point of view and my opinion, and you do with that what you will. Obviously, I want to hear your guys' feedback as well. If there's things I can do to make the videos better, any questions you may have, focuses on looking at these coins, giving you some actionable plans around trading and investing. Each video I will, you know, hopefully do some lessons around some of the stuff I discussed around alt season, looking at BTC dominance, cross market analysis, and I'll kind of pepper that in there as we go. I'm really looking forward to this series. I am going to be testing out the new camera situation, edited videos. I will be jumping back and forth between this camera and the webcam where I have the chart up. Really looking forward to this. With that being said, we're gonna head over to the main camera and I will talk to you guys about Ethereum, which is kind of the king of the altcoins there. And then the next video will be one with your guys' requests. All right, talk to you guys in a sec. Yo guys, Trader Mayne here on this camera now. So going to be covering one of the concepts that I discussed in the first video, or first part of the video. We'll use Ethereum as an example here. I'm just gonna cover one of the topics very quickly on Ethereum, and then the next video we'll kind of go into some other stuff and we'll figure it out as we go. I want feedback, and you know, I want this to be kind of an open line of communication. If there's stuff you like, stuff you want to see, I can cover it as I'm covering your guys' alts as well. So the main topic we're going to discuss here is just using Ethereum with ETHBTC to just kind of time, you know, where you want to be trading, whether you want to be in Ethereum, whether you want to be in Bitcoin, if a move is coming, what is the higher beta play, and how you can do that kind of quick cross-market analysis to make that determination. Before we get into it, shout out to Bybit. They are going to be sponsoring these altcoin videos, so shout out to the team. I really appreciate it. As usual, I'll leave a link in the description with all the pertinent information regarding the promotion that is running right now. It's still the bonus cash promo, $600. All the information will be in that link, but it's as simple as, you know, if you don't have an account already, make one. If you do, there's a couple things you can do, like depositing, making a trade. You click on the link, you click on the little tile, it tells you exactly what you need to do to get the cash. It's up to $600 free money. You can do with that money whatever you want. Buy some crypto, leverage, degen, trade it, and turn it into way more, or buy ramen, who knows, whatever floats your boat. Shout out to Bybit, thanks so much. So not gonna do Ethereum analysis here per se. What I'm going to be doing is showing you, and I think this is kind of very appropriate timing, where Bitcoin is potentially about to break out of its range, right? We're trading up near the range high. Could we pull back and then go? Are we just gonna, you know, consolidate up here, break out? Who knows? But it does seem like whether we pull back or just break out, Bitcoin wants to move outside of this range. We had the range fake out here. We've had the range fake out here. I would be pretty surprised if we did this, you know, and went all the way back down here. Of course, anything is possible, but I think if we do get out of this range, whether it's right now or after a pullback, it will be a meaningful breakout that will see a move up into, you know, maybe the mid 40s or higher. So that being said, what do you want to be in? Do you want to be in Bitcoin right now? Do you want to be in Ethereum? And so this is a concept that, you know, Ethereum looks like it's lagging right now relative to its range, but it's actually moved a little bit more than Bitcoin off the bottom. But what you want to actually pay attention to is Ethereum BTC here. So this is my Ethereum BTC chart that I've had for ages, and we're, you know, kind of just trading between key high time frame levels right now, right? There was the, you know, the top. Here's where we're finding support right now. The question is if this is going to break down or go even sideways, your money is going to be better off in Bitcoin. It stands to reason that Bitcoin is going to outperform Ethereum. Why is that? This is going to sound like a simple concept for a lot of you, but I get this question all the time, and I've covered it in previous streams, but this will be kind of the resource now where I can say, hey, go watch this video. So when you have Ethereum as one asset, right, versus USD, and then you have BTC versus USD. Really, all this are fractions. This is Bitcoin relative to the dollar. This is Ethereum relative to the dollar, right? So you can actually eliminate the denominator in each of these and turn it into a fraction like this. And this logic applies to not just crypto. I mean, it applies to any altcoin versus BTC. It also could be altcoins versus other altcoins, altcoins versus Ethereum. But you can do this in other markets as well. You can compare the Euro USD versus, you know, the pound dollar. And then you can also look at the euro versus the pound and do this exact same type of, you know, kind of fraction and determine which one might be a higher beta play for a long or for a short. So I'll focus on crypto here because that's what most of you guys care about, but this does carry over to other assets. You can compare any two assets together in this way. So when we're looking at, I didn't want to do that, when we're looking at the fraction here, really what we're just comparing is Bitcoin versus Ethereum. Ethereum being the numerator, Bitcoin being the denominator. So if you go back to whatever, you know, year of math fractions were taught, the way that this pair will move is a few ways, right? If the numerator is appreciating faster than the denominator, the fraction will go up. That's what you see here. If the numerator is appreciating slower than the denominator, right? So this is going up more than this. This is maybe neutral, or maybe it's just going up less, or even it could be going down. The fraction as a whole will be going down. That's what you see here. So why is this relevant to you? I didn't mean to do that. Why is this relevant to you? Well, if Ethereum BTC is in an uptrend, like we've seen, you know, here over the last year or so, or in some sort of parabolic move like this, the understanding is, or the logic is that Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin, meaning that if you had to long one of these two, you're gonna long Ethereum. And it goes the same in the reverse. If this fraction is going down, that means that Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum. The fraction as a whole is going down, and your money is better off being long Bitcoin, or Bitcoin is at least going to be outperforming Ethereum USD. It doesn't necessarily mean that Bitcoin is going up, but if this fraction is going down, like we see here, that means that Ethereum USD is going down more than Bitcoin USD, right? So if you had to be in one of the two, you would rather be in Bitcoin. And it works the same in the opposite as well, right? If we are in an uptrend overall, like we are in this pair here, but this is, you know, in a pullback during an uptrend, that means that if Bitcoin breaks 40K and goes to 45 and this rolls over, Ethereum USD will go up, but it will go up less than Bitcoin overall. So hopefully that makes sense. That's a section you're probably gonna watch more than once, but it's a fraction. And so using that logic what is Ethereum doing relative to Bitcoin, you can use that for investment purposes or for trading purposes. If you're trading and Ethereum BTC is bearish on the lower time frame, and if Bitcoin is breaking out, Bitcoin is likely going to be the higher beta play relative to dollars, right? Or if you had to be in spot of one of the two, you're going to want to be in Bitcoin. Whereas here, Bitcoin was, trading, Bitcoin was going up here, right? I mean, Bitcoin kind of topped out right here actually, but Bitcoin was going up. I mean, this move, Bitcoin was doing this essentially. So it was going up, but it was kind of distributing, and Ethereum was doing this, right? This is when Ethereum went from 2 to 4K and Bitcoin went from like 50 to 60. So you had a way bigger move in Ethereum because this was breaking out of a key level. And obviously putting in a parabolic leg. So using this Ethereum BTC chart, you're going to be able to determine where you want your money. If you're not interested in being in Tether or USDC or whatever, if you're like, I need to be in Ethereum or Bitcoin, well, you're going to be able to use this chart to determine at what time is it most opportune to be in one or the other. Right? And if you're trading, you can use this chart to determine, okay, if I have to long Ethereum or long Bitcoin, depending on what this chart is doing, I'm going to know which of the two I want to long. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Obviously, let me know if I did a terrible job of explaining it, but that's the importance of the Ethereum BTC chart and doing this cross-market analysis. And so we can take that logic and say, okay, well, Bitcoin looks like it wants to break out here to 45K, right? It wants to break out of the range high. This looks kind of toppy to me. This looks very similar to kind of here, right? It looks similar to kind of like I'm not saying it's going to do this, but what if we break down here and make where it looks like we're in the process of making a lower low right now, right? We're lower highs and lower lows, right? So if that's the case, if Bitcoin breaks out here, Bitcoin is likely going to outperform Ethereum versus USD. It doesn't mean Ethereum won't go up, but maybe this goes up 10%, right? And this only goes up, 6%.
Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
Sorry about that. So this is something you're gonna wanna pay attention to as we kind of get to on the precipice of a potential breakout on Bitcoin, where if this rolls over, you're gonna wanna be longing Bitcoin with leverage if that's what you wanna do, or if you're in spot, or have to get into spot, it seems like Bitcoin is going to be outperforming Ethereum for a period of time. And it's no different than when we had this huge breakout here on the ETHBTC chart. Once we broke this high, this is the time to be getting involved in Ethereum relative to Bitcoin. If you look at April 25th on Bitcoin, Bitcoin was topping. And then if you look at April 21st or 25th on Ethereum, Ethereum went parabolic, right? So that difference in price action between the two, because there are periods of time where BTC and Ethereum seem relatively lockstep, but there's going to be these divergences between the two, and there's going to be optimal times, whether you're trading or investing, where you want to weight your portfolio either in Ethereum, either in Bitcoin. And again, this is applicable for any alt. If Ethereum is going crazy, you want to be charting your altcoin versus Ethereum, because if your alt, right, if your altcoin divided by Ethereum is flat or going down, your money is better off in Ethereum than it is in your alt. Perfect example of that is what I did with Litecoin, right? I longed Litecoin thinking that this was going to, there you go, there's a chart of it right here. There's the graphic of it right here. I was drawing it up, thinking that this was going to break out, when in reality, Ethereum outperformed the shit out of Litecoin for basically the entire bull run, making lower highs and lower lows. So I made the wrong call. Rather than waiting for confirmation and having this actually make some bullish market structure, I tried to be kind of anticipatory, and it didn't work. So during this entire bull run, right, your Litecoin underperformed Ethereum. So if you were in Litecoin like I was for a period of time, you were underperforming Ethereum. And that let's look at another pair here. Cardano, for example, there was periods of time where Cardano massively outperformed Ethereum. So it made sense to actually be in Cardano relative to Ethereum. So this is going to be something that you're going to want to do from a trading perspective, whether it's in crypto or otherwise, and especially if you're trying to leverage trade or just invest in altcoins, you're going to want to do this type of cross-market analysis where you look at the ratio between your alt and Bitcoin, your alt and Ethereum, Ethereum versus Bitcoin, and determine which one do I want to be involved in based on the ratio, which is going to give me the higher beta play in whatever direction it is trading. So there are going to be periods of time where, you know, Bitcoin is outperforming Ethereum, Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. So if you're a trader, it can be very, you know, prudent to look at this chart, and in the short term we can say, okay, well, if this breaks down, when we eventually break 40K here, let's assume it's tonight and we go to 44K, there's a good chance that Bitcoin is going to outpace Ethereum for that breakout. So if I'm getting in a leverage trade, or if I'm just doing a spot trade, I want that to be Bitcoin versus Ethereum. That being said, you also need to look at this chart from a high time frame perspective if you're thinking more about, you know, maybe investing in one of the two coins. Because what you can see here is while both coins did great since the bottom, you know, during COVID, Ethereum from bottom to top was what, like a 4,000%, and Bitcoin was, you know, closer to 2,000. Well, that is encapsulated in the fact that this chart itself has been in a high time frame uptrend and is making higher highs and higher lows the entire way. So from an investment perspective, you might say, okay, well, yeah, there's going to be periods of time where, you know, Bitcoin is going to do better in Ethereum, Ethereum is going to do better in Bitcoin. But if I'm trying to pick my horse for a longer term investment, you're going to want to watch this on the higher time frame and say, okay, well, this isn't a massive uptrend. And yeah, you know, maybe I want to rotate from, if this looks like it's going to break down, maybe I want to rotate out of ETH into Bitcoin. But then here, assuming that the uptrend continues, I want to rotate back into Ethereum here, right? And this kind of move from the COVID low, which is right around here, to here is like a 3x on ETHBTC, right? Well, that's about the difference between what Bitcoin did in the bull run and what Ethereum did in the bull run, right? Ethereum went from just $1% gain basis, you know, 2.5, 3 times more than Bitcoin. And that's encapsulated in this chart. So in subsequent videos, I will kind of continue to dive into this concept around using cross-market analysis, using the ratio of your altcoin versus Bitcoin, your altcoin versus Ethereum, etc., just to give you guys some tips on, okay, when is it the optimal time to be heavy in Ethereum? Well, probably when we broke this kind of, you know, multi-year resistance level, it might have made sense to rotate into Ethereum. And as you can see, this is when Bitcoin kind of did this thing before dropping, and then Ethereum did, you know, this. Right? So there's going to be clues that you can use as an investor, like I just explained here, and as a trader for more kind of short term. Okay, if this breaks down and Bitcoin breaks up, I want to be longing Bitcoin versus Ethereum. That you can use to kind of just maximize your trading, maximize your investments, as opposed to just, you know, kind of buying and holding and hoping that things go up. Like if you're ever been, you know, looking at the charts, you wake up, everything's gone up, and you're like, oh, my altcoin went up 10% and ETH went up 15% or Bitcoin went up 15%. What the hell? Well, the answer is going to be in these ratio charts. So we'll kind of dive into this more in subsequent videos, but hopefully this was a quick little primer. And if you have any questions, if I didn't do a good enough job explaining it, let me know. But hopefully this helps. So we'll talk to you guys soon with the next video. All right, thanks.